Most men over 70 won't say this out loud, but they feel it every night. Not the darkness, not the quiet. Something worse than that. They feel like they've become invisible to the people they spent their whole lives building something for. I'm 74 years old, and I want to tell you something that took me a long time to admit, even to myself. The loneliness that hits men at this age isn't what you think it is. It's not that we have nobody around. Some of us have children, grandchildren, and neighbors who wave from the driveway. The loneliness I'm talking about is something different. It's the feeling that nobody actually needs you anymore. That the role you spent 50 years filling has been filled by someone else, or by nobody, and the world kept moving just fine without you. When I was working, I had a reason to get up at 6 in the morning. I had people who waited on my decisions, who called me when something went wrong, who needed me to show up. I didn't realize, not once in all those years, that what I thought was just a job was actually the entire architecture of my identity. The work wasn't what I did. The work was who I was. And when it ended, I didn't retire. I disappeared. My wife noticed it before I did. She'd ask me what I wanted for dinner, and I'd just shrug. And she'd get this look on her face that I didn't understand at the time. I understand it now. She wasn't frustrated. She was scared. Because the man she married had opinions about everything. He had energy, direction, somewhere to be. And suddenly, he was just sitting in a chair, watching the light change on the wall. The thing nobody tells you about getting older as a man is that we're raised, every single one of us, to be useful. From the time we are boys, the message is clear. Your value is in what you produce, what you provide, what you fix, what you carry. Nobody ever sits a young man down and says, "Here is how you build friendships that aren't based on convenience. Here is how you ask for help. Here is how you tell someone you love them without it feeling like you're handing them a weapon to use against you." Nobody teaches us that. So we go through life building everything outward and nothing inward. And then one day, the outward things start to fall away, and we realize we don't know who we are without them. I had a friend named Gerald. We worked together for almost 20 years. Good man, sharp sense of humor, somebody I genuinely liked. When I retired, we said we'd get lunch. We never got lunch. Not once. I'd think about calling him, and then I'd think, what would I even say? What do we talk about without the work? And I never called. He never called. Two men who spent 20 years side by side, and the moment the shared reason disappeared, so did the friendship. That's not unusual. That's the rule for most men our age. What I've come to understand, slowly and honestly, is that most men over 70 are lonely, not because nobody loves them, but because they never learned how to receive love, or how to ask for connection without feeling like they were admitting defeat. We were built to give, to provide, to be the one who doesn't need things. And that works fine when you're 40 and busy, and the world is pressing against you from all sides. But at 70, when the pressing stops, when the house is quiet and the phone doesn't ring with anything urgent, all of that old training turns against you. The same discipline that made you reliable makes you isolated. The same pride that made you strong makes you silent. My grandson came to visit last spring. He's 12, and he asked me, out of nowhere, what I was afraid of. Kids ask things like that without any armor on it. They just want to know. I sat there for a moment and I told him the truth. I said I was afraid of being forgotten. Not of dying, of being forgotten while I was still here. He looked at me for a long moment, and then he said, "I won't forget you, Grandpa." And I had to look away because I didn't want him to see that a 12-year-old had just given me something I hadn't let myself accept from anyone in years.
That's the thing that breaks something open when you finally see it. It's not that people stop caring about us, it's that we make it so hard for them to show it. We deflect compliments. We say we're fine when we're not. We fill the silence with updates about the garden or the weather instead of saying what's actually sitting in our chest. We do it because somewhere along the way we learned that needing people was a kind of weakness, and by the time we're old enough to know better, the habit is so deep it feels like personality. I have been working on unlearning it. It's slow work, uncomfortable work. A few months ago, I called a man I hadn't spoken to in almost 8 years, someone I used to be close with before life moved us in different directions. I didn't have a good reason to call, I just called. And the conversation we had for the next hour and a half was one of the best I'd had in years. He said he'd thought about calling me, too. We'd both just been waiting for a reason that was never going to come on its own. If you're a man of a certain age watching this, I'm not going to tell you to go join a club or download an app or follow some steps. I'm just going to say that the quiet you feel at night is real and it means something, and it is not too late to do something about it. The door isn't locked from the outside. It never was. We locked it ourselves a long time ago, and we still have the key. And if you're younger, and you have a father or a grandfather who seems fine, who says he doesn't need anything, who always waves off concern with a joke or a change of subject, maybe just sit with him a little longer than feels necessary. Don't try to fix anything, just stay. That's usually all it ever was. Someone willing to stay.